Well, the new year is upon us, friends, and with that, all of us are often thinking about New Year's resolutions or what we want to do this year. I will say I am not a huge fan of the typical New Year's resolutions, but my husband and I do really enjoy every year on New Year's Day or so getting out a scrap piece of paper and writing some bullet points down of goals we have for the year or things we want to focus on or pay attention to or lean into for that year. So, for example, the years we were expecting our babies, it was just focused on being parents and soaking in the newborn stage, or even things like read 12 books in a year, one book a month. Very measurable items, but also very spiritual items. And we just find this fun and a good opportunity, something to do in the winter and to think about when, we've all been cooped up, the holidays are over, and we've got a few more months to go yet here in the cold north of Canada. With all that in mind, I'm not going to be necessarily talking about New Year's resolutions with you today, but what I do want to encourage you with is something that I am seeking to master even more in my life, but something that I have found extremely helpful in helping me feel happy and satisfied and full. During the winter, I think this could be super helpful to encourage you with, especially, but obviously it is something that you can do all year round. And it's not just one thing I can say, but I'm going to try to describe it to you in this video today and share it with you. I am planning to host a bit of my family for a fun, special breakfast morning, and I have just been whipping up some granola here. I haven't really strictly followed a recipe. My husband is actually the master granola maker in our house. You can see I did about 2 cups of rolled oats, 2 cups of nuts, and threw some seeds in there. And then I filled my 1 cup measuring cup up about halfway with avocado oil and then topped the rest up with maple syrup, sprinkled some cinnamon and some salt in there, and stirred it all up out on a baking sheet, popped it in the oven for 350 for about 15 minutes. Then I stirred it a bit and popped it back in for another 15 to 20 minutes until it's just nice and golden brown. There are 2 parts I want to tell you about, and one of them is especially helpful when you are spending time in the kitchen, and that is doing the cleanup as you go. So what I mean by that is when you pull out a measuring spoon to measure an ingredient, directly put it in the dishwasher. Don't just set it back down on the counter unless you're going to use it again for that same recipe. Or taking the washcloth and wiping up between the ingredients you've added, or maybe it's pausing and sweeping up after you chopped a bunch of vegetables and little pieces fell on the floor. It's all about being kind to your future self. And your future self is going to appreciate it so much. But the wider lens of this idea, what keeps replaying in my head as I go about my day, is the encouragement to myself, just do it. And then reminding myself that it's never going to take as long as I have built it up in my head for it to take. And the funny thing is, it will take me 2 minutes or less to do this minute thing, and it will give me a world of a difference once it is time to sit down and I look around my house and I don't see all these things on my counter or dirt all over the floor. I'm doing things to care for my home or to care for myself that need to be done, and I'm just doing it as I think of it, instead of pushing it off and causing myself anxiety and just procrastinating to the limits where it is now getting in the way of other things or making me feel more anxious about something else. Avoiding the task has proven over and over to me to be intensifying the stress that it could cause. And now it's not to say that having some dirty dishes in your sink or things on the floor, or things, whatever, dirt around, things unclean, things untidy is an issue. It's not. And if you walked into my house right at this moment, there will be things laying around. I can guarantee you that. But it's overall just having a general sense of order and tidiness to your home, because caring for the home is so important for your mental health, for your family dynamics, and it enables so many more positive experiences and happenings to take place in your home or for your family, even if that is outside of the home. I want to say this is not about perfectionism. Like I said, this is about being kind to your future self. It is so much more relaxing to live in a house that has order, where it feels like there's a daily rhythm and routine to our caring for the home. It is such an important place where we spend so much time, whether you are a stay-at-home mom like me or a work-from-home person, or maybe you work outside of the home. You still come home every day and spend your weekends and your days off there. It is your place to relax and to feel comfortable. And if your house is not kept in a way that makes you feel happy, then when you sit down after a hard day's work, it doesn't feel as good. Want this to be for you today is a place of encouragement to just do it. As you go, clean up what you need to clean up, organize what you need to organize, and put things away where you need them to be. Now, I said that something that I repeat in my head often is just do it, but another thing that I will find myself repeating in my head is my touch it once policy, which no, it's not really a policy, but I tell myself just touch it once. So I see it there, pick it up, put it away. I took this thing off of something. Where does it need to go? Then put it there. Don't set it somewhere to put away later. The next thing I want to tell you about is almost like the opposite of what I just said, but stick with me. It's not really the opposite. However, I want you to get things out this year. And that might sound silly, but what I want you to take away from that is pull out what you have been meaning to do for so long and just haven't done. What hobbies do you have that you want to take some care and time to do, but you feel like you don't have time to do it? I have a challenge for you. I just want to tell you what I'm making here. These are some simple zippered fabric pouches that I've put special touches on for my little guys that I want for them to keep their little Christmas gifts in. We got them some teeny tiny mini trucks and tractors, and this is just the perfect way to store them, and they could take them places. We could throw them in the backpack when we go to the restaurant or whatever we're doing, and it's just a handy little pouch to have for toys on the go. But I will be honest with you, I didn't really feel like making them, even though I was really inspired to. Actually getting up, pulling out the sewing machine, getting the fabric out, and starting took a lot more time than it did to actually make these pouches. I am kind of funny. I don't love using patterns because I'm just a giver and see what happens, fix it along the way kind of person. And so I made these zipper pouches, which were super simple and easy, and I've made before, so I knew kind of what I was doing. But it took me a total of 20 minutes per pouch to put together, and that was with interruptions. So it was really not that big of a deal at all, even though for weeks I just had this fabric sitting around. I'm gonna quickly tell you what I'm making here. This is some custardy oatmeal, and I just throw in some quick oats and fill it up with milk until I get all the oats kind of floating around in there. And usually 2 or 3 eggs I put in there, and some sugar or maple syrup. Sometimes I don't even sweeten it, we just do maple syrup afterwards. And then I just stand there and stir it until it's thick on like medium high heat. It doesn't take too long, but I do whisk continuously, and then add some vanilla at the end. And so you can see here I'm adding it to some ramekins and going to attempt a creme brulee style oatmeal with some sugar on top, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven and broil it. Now these did not turn out quite as glossy or dark as I had hoped. My mom has a kitchen torch. Maybe next time I will just borrow it from her. But these were still very delicious, still had that crisp crust on top, and it was a very fun treat. And my boys absolutely loved it. When I pulled out my sewing machine, even though it was hard, I spent a total of 40 minutes, probably plus cleanup. So let's say about an hour doing something while the boys were napping that was not on my phone. And that's another part of what I want to encourage you with today. So if half of it is cleaning up as you go, picking things up when you see them, taking care of your home just as you see things, and doing what you need to do, then the other half is taking the time that you do have to spend on your phone, stop spending it on your phone, and pull out a hobby that you've always been meaning to do. Because we all do this. The excuse is, I don't have time. How do you have time to do these things? But I want to challenge you that you absolutely do have time in your day. Now, please don't hear this as coming across as too harsh or shameful, like I'm shaming you or criticizing you, because that's not it at all. I am really speaking to myself here when I say this, that we spend so much time on our phones, and it feels like we're not, but we are. The amount of things we can do in the time that we choose to not spend on our phone is incredible, and often surprises me actually. You heard me say it took me 20 minutes to make a single little pouch, but I was so proud of my little pouches, excited to show the kids and show my husband how I spent my time, and I was so proud. It was such a good dopamine hit. Instead of getting that dopamine hit from online, I actually sought out real life. It's doing things that make you feel good, doing things with your hands and being creative and doing things that need to get done. That's what's important, and that's what's going to contribute to making you happy. Sitting on your phone, you can find inspiration. I mean, you're probably watching me on your phone right now. Chances are it's not all bad, but think of all the time we spend on our phone where we could be doing these other things. Maybe you could be doing what I'm doing in this part of the video here. I am making pastry cream to go in some homemade croissants that I'm going to serve. To have some family over for a breakfast, and I wanted to do something a little different than the traditional, eggs, bacon, sausage, pancakes sort of breakfast, and have more like little items that you can add to your plate. It's going to be small yogurt parfaits, and I'm going to make 2 different kinds, so I'm going to attempt to make them look really pretty here this afternoon. Another thing I'm making are filled homemade croissants with some almonds on top, mini creme brulee oatmeal. I'm just going to make a ham and cheese quiche. I was going to make ham and cheese hand pies, but then I thought I'm just going to keep it a little more simple and do the actual full quiche. What I'm going to make is like a PB&J and cinnamon maple parfait. The peanut butter and jam one, I'm going to start with a layer of peanut butter and then a little bit of raspberry jam with some raspberry yogurt, and then some granola sprinkled on top of that, and then repeat that again, and then hopefully topping it with a little whipped cream and some raspberries. Then for my other one, I'm going to use peaches. So these are peaches I froze in the summertime. They look not super duper beautiful, but hopefully when I cut them up and they're in the parfaits, they look pretty. And we're gonna use maple syrup in that with some plain yogurt, and sprinkle some cinnamon on top of that too. These little yogurt parfaits were so fun to make, and I'm definitely going to make them again. They felt like a tasty little treat, but they're healthy and easy to make. All right, I found this chandelier off Facebook Marketplace, and I'm so excited to finally have a light fixture here. It is a brassy sort of antique brass finish, and I just think it's so pretty, and I wanted something that looked like it could have been maybe original to the home. Now, this dining room area was actually a summer kitchen back when my husband's grandparents lived here, so that's why it's kind of a sunken in area. It had a wall and it was totally different, but now we finally have a light fixture that potentially could tell the story that it was here all along. And now I'm gonna just take some time to set a little tablescape underneath that new chandelier in our dining room. We can all enjoy our breakfast under the light for the first time, our first meal together with our new chandelier. While you're I'm working on figuring out how to be more kind to myself and get things done when they need to be done so that I can relax later and I can look around and feel good and satisfied and have that dopamine hit in my day. If all else fails, invite people over for a meal and you will find yourself cleaning up your house and resetting. Use that reset to help you continue to keep your home in a way that makes you feel happy. Get off your phones, plan a menu, and have the people over that you've been meaning to have. You won't regret it. Spending time with each other is the best way we can spend our time. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope I gave you a little bit of inspiration or encouragement along the way, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Bye, friends.